So there's a file called Never Read Canary sitting in XAI's cloud storage. A researcher planted it. He told Grok's coding tool to reply OK and read nothing, and officially did exactly that. But the file went up into Grokland anyway. So how did Grok upload code that it never read? So the researcher measured what was actually leaving his machine, and his conversation with the model, because it was really freaking short, was about 192 kilobytes. Now, it's actually a little longer than it should be, but it was looking at code, and then that was the part doing actual work. But in the same session, a second channel shipped 5.1 gigabytes into a Google Cloud bucket named Grok Code Session Traces. And well, that's kind of obvious what's in it, and it pulled in 27,000 times more than the model ever should have needed to see, which is roughly the difference between mailing a postcard and mailing a piano. So it sent the whole repository packaged up with its entire history. So all those secrets that you deleted 3 months ago, well, those came back for him. His .env, his environment file, went over too. That's where you keep your passwords and your keys. It arrived in plain text. He named one of those keys should not leave, which is just funny to me because it left anyway. As we say in poker, the tell is the size. So the uploader breaks big files into chunks and it stops at exactly 1 gigabyte per file. And nobody picks a number like that by accident. One user online said it took his entire whole home folder, his password manager, his SSH keys, that's the secure sign-on connection keys, documents, photos, videos, it took everything. But wait, you say, I've seen it. There's a toggle to turn off training. So this researcher switched improve the model, that's what it's called, to off, and then he ran it again. And his whole repository still went up. And XAI's own software still said, yeah, that upload's on. Because it turns out all that toggle actually does is decide whether XAI is allowed to trade on your data. It was never actually wired to decide if your code could leave your machine with or without your consent, because it turns out those are two different questions, and the setting wasn't lying. It just wasn't doing what, well, basically everybody thought they were asking it to do. He posted about it, so XAI killed the upload on their end, and Musk said that the data would be, and I quote, completely and utterly deleted, but then they went and open sourced the whole thing. The uploader is still in there. They just changed it to return an error. I have clicked plenty of settings off in my life. I guess I've never gone back to check what turning that thing off did. My guess is there's going to be a class action lawsuit, some sort of court case that is going to call these toggles deceptive. It's not in 2026, it's going to be by the end of 2027. Because even if your toggle is technically accurate about what it's doing, if any rational person would assume it's doing something else, that is still deceptive. So question for you, how can you even check what your own tools are doing, and do the toggles work the way you expect? If you found this quick and helpful, please subscribe. But until next time, keep asking good questions.